Good morning, folks. You're tuned to Car Connection, where the coffee's strong and the stories are real. The wrenches, they never stop turning. I'm your host, Niall Motormouth Jenkins, coming to you from the Car Connection Workshop, where the smell of fresh oil, a little elbow grease is all part of a balanced breakfast. And around here, we don't just talk cars, we live them. Whether it's a 25-year-old Jeep Wrangler getting a second chance at life, a Nissan Rogue getting its brakes back in order, or a mystery leak that's got everyone scratching their heads. This is where we roll up our sleeves and get it done, with a little wit, a little wisdom, and a whole lot of fun. The Car Connection isn't just about nuts, bolts, and diagnostics. It's about connection. Connection to our vehicles and to the people that drive them, to the community that keeps Niagara rolling. Because when you fix a car, you're not just turning a wrench. You're restoring someone's confidence, freedom, and maybe even their sanity. We're here every week, Monday through Saturday, with the Motormouth Morning Drive, helping you and your ride be safe, reliable, and ready for whatever road lies ahead. So whether you're a weekend wrencher, daily commuter, or someone who just wants to understand what that strange rattle really means, welcome aboard. Stick around for shop talk, expert advice, a few good laughs, and maybe, just maybe, a flashback automotive-related story or two from the days of the shop on the Hamilton Mountain, the Big Smoke. Yeah, I worked quite a few years on the Hamilton Mountain. So good morning to you. Good morning, and welcome to Hump Day. It is Wednesday, and if you're in the queue for the drive-thru, get yourself something a little extra today. It's the middle of the week, and the kids are going to be out of school tail end of this week, so let's all be eyes and ears and keep an eye on them, because we'll be excited to be out of school for the summer. School's out for the summer. I think I've heard that somewhere before. Yeah, and they forget about safety, so let's all work together and make sure the kids all get back to school in September. So let's just keep an eye on them wherever we go. And on the streets, yeah, I'll be throwing stale muffins at those who are racing down our streets. It's not an extension of the highway. There's young mothers now moving into the older neighborhood that we're in. The old fellers are retiring out and heading into residential homes, and it's good to see younger families coming in, but they got strollers, they got dogs, and they're walking their kids and stuff, and we don't need these idiots flying in and around and I hope you're not one of those, because if you are, I'm gonna poke you in the eye with a frozen hot dog. Yeah, slow down. Let's slow down. It's summertime, the kids are out there, and moms, you're only days away from not having that quiet time, so take it in. Here it is. We're going to have our morning swiggy in just a moment. Double check your order at the takeout window. Lock it down, and whatever your morning beverage is, prepare it. We'll have a swiggy in just a moment. This morning's podcast being brought to us by the Grimo family at Niagara Block, the next generation, with Kathy, David, and Dan. They've been building Canada since 1931. I wonder if they need a coffee break. I'm thinking. Like 1931. Yeah, somebody buy them a coffee and a box of donuts at least, for sure. Located at 5000 Montrose Road in Niagara Falls since 1931. Building blocks, they create them all right there. So all the different types of cinder blocks, they make them there, designer ones. And I wonder if they've ever made polka dot cinder blocks. I have to ask David. See if they, some kind of bizarre cinder block. Anyhow, before I digress, if you're looking to create that beautiful backyard space, they have hardscape landscaping materials to help you to create that wonderful oasis that you'd like to have, where you can just hang out with family, friends, neighbors, or just chill. A place for you to sit back and relax and take it easy. Well, if you check in with Kathy Grimo, she has a list of contractors that can get that package put together for you, estimate it, get a starting date, a finishing date, and make that oasis not just a dream anymore, but how about a reality? So thank you to the Greenville family, Kathy and Dave, husband and wife, and Dan, the brother. Great people in the Niagara region, building Canada since 1931. So let's have our morning swiggy together. Here's how we do it. We count it down, 3, 2, 1. Grab your 16-pack of Crayola crayons and your leaf bag so you can take some notes. We are going to dive in deep this morning on kind of a bit of a different topic, and it's kind of been on my heart, but I kind of kept pushing it back. But it really is the foundation. The topic today is the foundation for every single thing around us. Everything, including self. You can apply it to self and to everything. If you stood and rotated 360 degrees, everything around you falls into this category. And it's so easy to become complacent. But in the end, there's always regret. I shoulda, woulda, coulda. Right? How many of us have been there? My hand's up when you go, I shoulda, woulda, coulda. And I'll tell you, there was a time in my own life where, and how about you, where you just put things aside. Well, I'll do it tomorrow. Yeah, just for now. Put it there for now. And 20 years later, it's still in the for now spot. Yeah, we fall behind because we don't push ourselves enough. So on 3, 2, 1, you ready? I'm buying you some time there in case you're still at the takeout window this morning. Yeah, I heard that there's a donut diner in Stevensville, Ontario that has a blueberry center to it. Like a blueberry goo in there. Yeah, and you can hardly get your hands on them. I tried, my pops got one. Got a couple, managed to score a couple of them. Oh, yeah. They're over the top, for sure. So you got to check that out if you can get some. So that's in the big town of Stevensville, Ontario, Canada. 3, 2, 1. Got a little bit of different honey in there this week. I'm on a new jar. It's got a different flavor. I taste a little bee in there. My friend of years ago, he'd always say, do you know what honey is? I go, no, bee poo. Come on. I'm going, oh, did you have to like wreck it? He goes, that's what it is. They eat the nectar and they poo. Honey is bee poo. I'm going to have to ask our bee guy. I got to know. Is it really bee poo? Put that in the comments. Put that in an email, motormouth.jenkins@gmail.com. Do you think it's honey is bee poo? Really? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Well, let's jump into our morning weather. This podcast is, it's talk radio on platforms. That's what it is. I've been in talk radio 32 years now. And, yeah, yakking is what I've made a living out of. And so have a lot of others. But it's what you learn during the yakking that helps, right? It helps you move forward. Otherwise, it's, there's all different types of yakking. It's, if it's talk radio, guess what? It's talk radio, fella. It's that simple. Yeah, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure that one out. And so we move on this morning, and we thank our good friends, husband and wife team, again, at City Auto Sales and Leasing. You're going to love Louise and Earl Grant. I kid you not. You are going to love them so much. You will not be able to hold yourself back from going back and buying another car from them. So they provide low mileage, quality vehicles at fair prices. You will not find any junk there or any scamming or anything like that. You'll be able to buy with confidence, be treated with nothing less than honesty and integrity. That's how they've earned the title Greater Toronto Area's premier pre-owned auto store. They have a pretty decent inventory under roof and outside on the lot. But if you're looking for something specific, they have built the resources to find those vehicles over 25 years in what they do. They're professionals in what they do, and they want you to come back. They don't just want to sell you a vehicle one time. They want you to refer them and come back next time you need another vehicle. So let's say thank you to Earl and Louise Grant for being there for us, because that's a huge part of the stress relieved. Go and see Earl and Louise. Go and see Kathy, Dave, and Dan. They'll take care of that landscaping hardscape for you. Get that thing put together in no time. It's great to have referrals. It really, really is. So this program is dedicated to all of you who just want to learn more about your automobile, how to take better care of it, how to know the 5 things, what it is, where it is, how it works, how you broke it, and ended up costing yourself money. And do you want to break it again? Or, get to know more about the 5 things so that you don't cost yourself additional repairs and maintenance. And just learning the basic fundamentals of vehicle ownership pays back tenfold. I'll tell you that for sure. How do I know? I do it myself. I don't just talk the talk. I walk the walk, and you come and fact check me anytime you want. Check and see, is my emergency park brake on my vehicles? Go help yourself. Have a looky-see. Are they maintained? Have a walk around. Take a look. See what you see. And are they older? They're almost ancient. But, get lots of compliments where I go. And that's what we're going to be talking about this morning, is understanding there is, that's the wrong title. My bifocals suck. Anyways, maintenance is always ongoing. And that's why I said stand in a cornfield, rotate 360, and there's always something that has to have maintenance. Well, today, not tomorrow, yesterday, or because 55 degrees right now and sunny. The wind is making it feel cooler here along the south shores of Lake Erie in the Niagara region. Partly cloudy conditions from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. with mostly cloudy conditions expected at 11 a.m. So today's temperature range will be 54 to 74 where we are in the Niagara region. I'm not sure about where you are, but, British Virgin Islands, it's always like 84 degrees. How cool is that? Yeah. And it's going to feel like more like they're saying here 53 to 71. So today we're going to top out at 74. Yesterday we hit a high of 75, and it looks like we have a little on the rainometer, a little bit on RAIN, maybe greater than 0.05. But in the last 24 hours, we've had 0 precip. So that's where we're at. And tomorrow is already Thursday, man. Do you know what today is? Okay, yes, you're right. It's hump day. Absolutely. Today we are at season 2, episode 199. I can't believe it. But you know what happens tomorrow? We'll be at 200. And then for the Motormouth Morning Drive, we shift into season 3. Come Fun Friday. So we better have a really good Fun Friday. I'm thinking everybody should have a blueberry-filled fritter or whatever it is. It was really good, let me tell you. Yeah. I said to Pops, well, how come you showed up without any blueberry-filled thingies from the donut shop? They were all gone. Apparently they're the one. That's the one everyone wants. So I said, well, then that just means they need to get more. Put more out so everybody gets a chance. Well, thank you to our certified financial planning professionals, Tony Mealy and Larry Tetro. These guys are amazing. And whatever your financial situation or questions are, these are the guys that you want to tap into that have the credentials certified financial planning professional. And Tony and Larry joined us back in 2007 as the planners. And we did a segment on radio every week with one of them for 15 minutes. And it went gangbusters. So I'm looking at bringing guests in that I can introduce you to that have been a part of Car Connection communications for many, many years, and sharing them with you because they have a ton of knowledge in their profession. And that's the fellas, my brothers from other mothers, Tony Mielli and Larry Tetro, combined have well over 50 years experience. They're tied in with us not because they need more clients. These guys are super busy. They want to reach out to you if you're reaching back. If you've got questions, these guys can put together a game plan to help you in whatever condition you're in. So please don't give up on yourself, and don't continue to just ask people their opinions, because everybody can fix everybody's problems except for their own. You got to go to those who have the fruit on the tree. So book yourself an hour and a coffee. Leave your wallets and purses at home. Tony or Larry, whoever you decide to work with, will walk you through your investment portfolio. And for all those who have investments with banks, you're not working with CFPs. You know that, right? You're working with advisors, and they sell products. That's all they do, cookie cutter products. Your money's not working hard for you. It's working great for the banks, but not for you. And I can say this because I'm not under compliance, but Tony and Larry are. So if you've got investments at the bank, you need that hour and a coffee, because that money is not working hard for you. It's working great for the banks. Just take a look at what their profit line was in 2025. Yeah, you'll get a better understanding. Tony and Larry deal with debt retirement, working to get rid of that debt that's hovering over you, estate planning, wills, powers of attorney, health proxies for children that are 18 years of age or older, mortgages at great rates and wonderful people to work with, life insurance, critical illness insurance, and the list of services goes on and on and on. So get that discovery meeting done today. If he won't call, you call. If she won't call, you call. Somebody set that up. And again, leave your money at home. They're not going to be asking you for any money. They need to see where you're at and determine course of action for your personal circumstances. So let's jump in this morning. Yes, our Car Connection maintenance schedule system is all plugged in on our website, so you can look at the review and fill out an order form. It comes directly to the studio here, and I send those out directly. There is a limited amount, so that it's not oodles and oodles of them. We do a run. When they're gone, then we'll consider doing another run if you're poking the bear and saying, yeah, I could use that maintenance schedule to keep me on track with vehicle maintenance. Now, what I'm about to talk to you with this morning, stay where you're to till I come where you're at. The do does and the did is done. I watch a lot of these online influencers that break down what happens when aircrafts crash. There's probable cause with Dan Greider. There's taking off with Mr. Milliken. And there's pilot debrief with Hoover. Great guys. They really tear in to what happened. And that's what intrigues me is there's a lot of older aircraft out there, including commercial aircraft, the big guys. And a lot of the common denominator for the last year or so that I've been watching is lack of maintenance. And not just lack of maintenance, negligence. The recent crash of the UPS aircraft came down to, was actually a DC-10. And I remember as a kid, back in the 70s, the DC-10s were grounded because the engines would fall off. Just like that. So now it's called a DC-11, but it's still a DC-10. So what happened to that UPS plane, and why did it come down right after taking off? Because the engine fell off. The engine hanger that holds the tail of the engine towards the wing separated. So the engine drops down, flips around over top of the wing, and unfortunately it took out the other engine on the tail. If that had not happened, they would have all survived as well as those on the ground that were innocently killed. But it all came down to, and I watched the in committee talking about what had happened, and this is what really ticked me off, because it's happening with all kinds of aircraft. One that just recently went down that took out a bunch of skydivers. They discovered the engine stalled out because there's water and debris in the wing tank. Well, who's maintaining that? Seriously, aren't you glad we are not flying airplanes every day? Would you look at your vehicle a little bit differently and go, oh, I don't know, honey. 12,000 feet. What if it stalls out? What if, the engine blows up? Exactly. And there's pieces of aircraft falling off, things that are not refitted properly, small aircraft. And these aren't brand new aircraft, folks. And that's what I listen for. What's the age on those aircrafts? 54, 63, 74, 80-somethings, early 90s. Did you hear me say 2026, 2025, or 2024? No. So what does that mean? They all need to be certified all the time. But even it comes to the big commercial airplanes, that UPS plane should not have gone down. It should have not even left the runway, because it was previously determined that hangar had a split bearing. The bearing in the hangar holding the engine on was given an okay by the technicians, whoever looked at it. The bearing was splitting. It had split, which means what? Should it remain in service? And that's what our military instructor that taught us said. If you can't give it a yes, it's a no. If you're giving it a maybe, it's still a no. If you can't look at an object on your vehicle when we're looking them over for you folks, if we can't say yes, that's fine to remain in service, it's a no. Flat out. So all those people on the ground and the 4 crew died because someone decided, well, here it is. Here's the answer. They all knew that was a weakness on those DC-10s, now called DC-11, Airbus A320s. They share the same hangar, and they're defective. For Pete's sake, could you not say the bearing split, the hangar needs to be replaced, whatever the cost? So they're all now pointing fingers at each other for the blame game. But the point is, those innocent people all lost their lives because some doofus didn't stand up and say, the bearing split, the hangar needs to be replaced. Yeah, it's going to be expensive, but they're all doing it. The planes have a pattern failure, and they did when they came out as a DC-10. The engines were falling off. So that's when I started thinking about today's topic, is how important it is to understand what it is as a car caregiver. If your vehicle were one of those small aircraft, another aircraft that went down, skydiving aircraft went down in Hawaii, that airplane had lost part of its wing previously when it was working as a skydiving plane at another outfit. And the plane apparently got fixed, but it wasn't. And they have actual photos that show that where the flap came off, the wing was buckled. So in other words, it was bent. But they fixed another flap in there, but the wing was bent, which means it's not in position correctly for lift, for airflow, to lift that plane and for the plane to be stable in the air. So not only are we seeing lack of maintenance on automobiles, lack of maintenance on aircraft, and that needs to change. People need to go to jail for negligence. People need to have a reminder that your job is to call it. Not to, and there's pilot errors. There's pilots that shouldn't even be flying because they don't have enough experience flying the plane. But people get paid to put it through anyway. And people get paid off to just, the plane's healthy. Check. People get killed. So I got thinking, aren't you glad you don't... What would your attitude be if you fly an aircraft to get to work every day? How important would it be to make sure that you know when you go through your pilot checklist? And that's another area that's being neglected. No pilot checklist. Something's not quite right with the aircraft, but they still make a decision to go up anyway. Are you crazy? No, you call it off. Just call it off. A vehicle, no different. Your vehicle's no different. If there's a problem with it, call off the trip. Is it worth your safety? I say no, 100%. If something is going wrong and could go wrong, but it's not getting fixed, we need to just say, you know what? We need to call it. We just need to call it because safety is number one. So maintenance is always ongoing. And it doesn't matter whether the vehicle's still under warranty or it's out of warranty or it's 10, 15, 20, 25 years old. They are all pieces of machinery that require maintenance to keep them going. And when maintenance is not getting done, it lacks, then that's when safety is jeopardized, and things happen. So what is a car caregiver? That's my question to you. What do you think it is? Send me an email and in your words tell me, what is a car caregiver? Do you have one set up in your homestead? Who is that person that's taking charge of the maintenance on a piece of machinery that you fly down the highway at 135, 140K? I'm right. I don't drive those speeds. I honor the speed limit and just a tad over. And you know what? I like getting gas mileage, and I don't like beating my vehicles up either, because that's where it costs money. You play hard, you pay hard. That's what my boss taught me in my first year. He said, and he was a drag racer, he said, we're out there, we're playing to break it. That's what we're doing, but we know that. But on a daily driver, you play hard, you pay hard. You're making more maintenance for yourself. So my question to you this morning, which is one of my 5-step plans today to caregiving, to be car caregiver or car caregiving. Are you the one in charge of making sure vehicles are top drawer, maintaining them, cleaning them, and understanding that that's money sitting there in the driveway? That's your hard-earned money sitting in that driveway. And I've often said to people when I used to do a lot of seminars, is at that time it was about 15 grand. You bought yourself a brand new car. If you had 15 $1,000 bills, would you leave them sitting on the kitchen table and leave the room? Now that's a joke today. 15,000. What do you buy for 15,000? You got to buy hard and get your money's worth. But I can't believe what people are paying for new vehicles today. I don't see the value. Lots of plastic. And you know what plastic is? Nobody's answered me in the email. It's petroleum. It's gasoline. So that's why when these vehicles catch fire under the hood, any of that plastic catches fire, that vehicle's gone. Unless you're right standing there with a fire receptacle to put it out, it's done. Like in 10 minutes, that thing is well on fire. And plastic is cheaper than making metal components. And that's why I don't see the value. You know, the sheet metal is so thin. Almost Reynolds aluminum wrap is thicker. You know, they're made so cheap. So cheaply made. The workmanship, the fit and finish. Not on all of them, but most of them. And the mechanicals are just not hanging in there. And they know what they're doing. They're giving you poor quality, but at big pricing. So I want to stay on track here this morning with my top 5-step plan to being a really good car caregiver. So maintenance is always ongoing. You have to settle in with that. That's just the way it is. Or you've just got to settle into the fact that you've got to work your tail off trading time for money and keep making a car payment. There's only two choices. But this program and the lane I've been carving out for 44 years as an automotive tech, this is what I do. I can teach you how to keep that vehicle going until you're ready to retire. And I know people that they still have the last vehicle they bought brand new. Took them all the way into the retirement, and they're well into their retirement, and they're still driving the same automobiles. And no, they're not mechanics. They're just everyday drivers. They see the value, and they remember how many payments they made to own that thing, and then not just pay it off and drive it right into the wrecking yard, into the recycle yard, because that's just dumb. So this podcast and all that I've been doing for 32 years is to teach you don't have to do that. It's a choice. And it is your choice. Absolutely. Absolutely it is. You know, a man convinced against his will is of his own opinion still. And that's how I live my life. You know, as now an online influencer, I can't believe the idiots that put comments in and they think they're actually going to poke the bear. I really don't care, buddy. I really don't care, just so that you know. You want to put a stinky comment in there, just don't use any foul language. It just shows how stupid you are. That's all it does. It just shows the depth of your stupidity. Exactly. So this podcast plus our YouTube channel is not for those that want to do things like that. Go do something else. Go back in the closet where you were and leave us all alone. Number 2, understanding there is always going to be a cost. A cost. So whether it's a cottage, an RV, I used to fix a lot of RVs, and I'll tell you what, best day of owning an RV is the day you sell it, just like a boat. They need a lot of maintenance, and if you're not willing to updo them all the time, you're not going to be using it. It's that simple. All that stuff, all needs caregiving full time. Cottage, boats, Sea-Doos, snowmobiles, ATVs, they're all heavy duty for maintenance. All of it. Buy a cottage and what? Let it all fall down? No, you have a house and another house called a cottage, and both need the same maintenance or something has to give. So what is a car caregiver? A car caregiver is the person that understands that there is an ongoing cost surrounding that purchase, whether it's pre-owned or whether it's brand new. You know, the manufacturer's not going to hold your hands, take you to go potty. That's not going to happen. There's something called vehicle ownership. That's where you own it. You have the keys, you're making the payments, you own it. And not everything's going to be covered where you just go crying to the dealer and they're going to cover it. That's not going to happen. Been there, done that. I know how that system works very well. Number 3, there has to be effort. So the car caregiver fully understands that there's dedication, that there's a cost, that there has to be effort, and knows the value of that vehicle to you, not to the neighbor, not to someone else tuning in this morning that thinks I'm an idiot. That's okay. You're welcome to say that. That's your opinion. Doesn't hurt me at all, just so you know. I only have one feeling left, and I say no to drama. And anytime you want to be the big toad in the puddle is just fine by me. You go right ahead. I'll always shake my head and agree with everything you say because I don't need your drama. So you have to look yourself at your own vehicle and say, what is the value of that vehicle? If you're listening in your vehicle right now, ask yourself that question. It may be an older vehicle. Maybe it's only a few years old. What value do you place on that automobile? Really? Now, I can't answer that question for you, but I can answer the question for myself. All the vehicles that we run and to accomplish things, to get the videos done, to get maintenance done, to run life, are invaluable to me. They're all tools. That's exactly the way I see it. They're all tools and they need maintenance. All the tools in my toolbox, I have over $150,000 worth of hand tools. They're all invaluable to me. So I clean them. I take care of them and I put them back in the toolbox every day. They're not piled up on the counter or on the floor, laying on the floor. I was taught that at a very young age in my apprenticeship. Your tools earn you your living. They're invaluable. Clean them every day and put them away before you go home. And in the shops I worked in, that was the rules in the shop. Everyone clears their tray on the side of their toolbox and puts all their tools, cleans them, and puts them away. It's discipline. So what value do you place on your automobile that you're sitting in maybe right now? How valuable is that vehicle to you? Not to someone else saying, oh, I wouldn't put any more money into that old piece of junk. Well, you know what? What's it worth to you? Well, my piece of junk is almost 20 years old in a few weeks here and 400,000 K. It's invaluable to me. Why? I don't have the money to replace it. And I don't want to get in debt to make any more car payments. I've done my time with that and learned my lesson, valuable lesson, that when you sell out to being a car caregiver, you are now in the driver's seat. And there's going to be those talking heads that say, well, I don't know why you always putting money into these older vehicles. Well, I can be putting money into a 3-year-old vehicle. How about that? What's the difference? Tell me what the difference is. What is the difference? If it's 3 years old or 20 years old, you've still got to put money into it to keep it going. I don't care if it's worth $500 curbside. To me, it's worth $30,000 to $60,000 to $70,000 to replace it. Depends on how much you want to spend to buy somebody else's pre-owned, and then it's still going to need money spending on it. That's the circle of life in the automotive world. Whether you buy a 15-year-old vehicle or a 5-year-old vehicle, it still has to be maintained. You still have to put money into it. So what difference does it make if it's 20 years old and it's worth $1,500 curbside? Or it's 5 years old and it's lost 50% of its value. It's called depreciation. I remember when my parents bought a Ford F-250 extra cab. It was a trailer edition. They towed a 34-foot fifth wheel house trailer, and they traveled the countryside, and that was 1988, and they paid $34,000 for that truck, and they drove that thing for a few years, and then they wanted to get a diesel dually F-350 with the 7.3 in it. They wanted to pull a bigger, heavier trailer, and they were offered like $8,000 for their $34,000 truck in less than 5 years. Do you understand depreciation? Was that a good deal? Somebody has to take the hit. Depreciation is 15 to 25% per year. That's why in 5 years you go to trade it in. Yeah, we'll give you $1,500 for it. And you go, what? Do you know how much I paid for that? That's depreciation. So take a look at your vehicle today and put a price tag on it. Seriously. And say it to yourself out loud. What is my vehicle that I currently have worth to me? Not to someone else. What is it worth to me? So you have to, as a car caregiver, you have to know your vehicle's value to you, not anybody else's opinion, because opinions are like belly buttons. Everybody's got one. And lastly, being a solid car caregiver, you have to fully understand that your efforts to maintain that vehicle and knowing its value and knowing and understanding that it comes with a cost, time and money, that your return on your investment of time and money is greater than just signing papers and going back in debt. And yeah, you know what? I get poked at all the time by new car salesmen. I've been called an idiot. I've been called, I speak nothing but vomit. Go find something to do, fellas. Really. I get it. I get it. But you know what? Not everybody has buckets of cash to go and buy a brand new vehicle every 3 to 5 years. The majority is you're driving what you can afford. And sometimes you get caught in that trap where, you buy something on emotion to impress people you don't even know and you don't even like. I've lived 44 years in the car business, and that's actually not the right amount. It's actually more than 44. Quite a bit more. But, I've been there, and I still love the car business. I still enjoy working on vehicles. I still enjoy helping people when they need a hand up. And that's the whole idea behind our YouTube channel and this podcast is I'm here to help you, not those talking heads. I don't give them any time. They just make themselves look stupid. In their comments, they just make themselves look stupid. And that's okay. I let them make themselves look stupid because not everybody's in the same boat. If you're selling new cars, you know what? You're looking for the person that can afford to drive a brand new car. For the most part, pre-owned vehicles and pre-owned vehicle sales are going through the roof right now because that's what people can afford. I look at the price tags on vehicles today. I can't afford that. I'm not willing to trade time for money to pay for that and lose all that equity. There's no equity in vehicles. None. It's pay, and the value of it just goes in the toilet. At the end of the loan, yeah, okay, we'll take your car in as a trade, and they're offering you pittance for it. And you go, wow, I made all those payments, and that's all you're going to give me? That's it? Wow. Yeah, these are the things we have to think about. So yeah, I feel for the sales guys. I understand they got to make profit, but you know what? Not everybody's on that same page, in that same class, where you can just go and buy whatever you want. Like the brother and sister that just won $75 million. I was saying to myself, what vehicle would I drive if I just won $75 million? I'd drive what I like. Yeah. I'd still live frugal, and I drive what I like. Because you can. But not everybody's in that position. So your homework for today. Look at that vehicle that you're driving. Look at the vehicles you have in your driveway. Are they paid off? Are you maintaining them? What value do you place on those vehicles? Not somebody else's opinion. Your opinion. What is the value of those vehicles in your driveway to you? What do they mean to you, dollars and cents wise? And running your schedule, your life, getting the day-to-day stuff done. I'm here to help you. Anything I can do to help you, I'm here to help you. Our Car Connection maintenance schedule's there to help you, to get you on track, keep you on track, and it's all done for you. You just have to check the boxes. Have the procedures done to the car on time and check the boxes. That's it. You don't have to, no brain drain whatsoever. And the maintenance schedules that are in the owner's manuals, that's not the gospel. Those are just suggestions. And I just heard it yesterday, as a matter of fact, from a couple of manufacturers. Well, don't follow the maintenance book to the letter. It's only suggestions. Is that misinformation or what? It absolutely is to the consumer. So that's why we have to learn to be sharper than the cat. And we also have to learn that we need to be a prosumer, not a consumer. So I leave you with that. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Is Thursday. Come and join us for episode 200 of Motor Mouse Morning Drive and Car Connection, our Car Connection workshop. You can find us on all platforms that you pull your podcast from: Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Podbean. Wherever you find podcasts, just type in Car Connection Workshop. You'll find us there. All our program partners are available to you on the homepage of our website at carconnectionbusinessnetwork.com. Just click on their logo. It'll open their profile page. All the pages are set up the same so that navigation on our website is easy. The top right-hand corner of our homepage has all the platforms that you can join us on. Our Facebook, Instagram, Stevensvilleontheweb.ca. Our very own videographer, Skippy, put that together many years ago to bring businesses and community together in the Stevensville area. That's where my parents live there, and a lot of friends live there, and there's lots of amazing people and businesses there. So we are put down as the automotive professional on that website, so we put articles up there. Bloopers, reels, and outtakes are on Facebook and Instagram. You won't find them anywhere else, and Stevensvilleontheweb.ca. Our YouTube channel has over 450 pieces of information for you to become that amazing car caregiver and put money back in your pocket. Our Car Connection merch store is there. We've been constantly being asked, do you have merch? Yes, we have Car Connection Motormouth merch. A store all set up online so you can order what you like. It gets shipped directly to you, and all the proceeds go to Total Freedom Addiction Campuses, Canada and USA, changing lives one at a time. Stand with our crew and Skippy and I, helping those that are ready to deal with their addiction to get to a campus nearest them. And that's the reason why we don't take a dime of any products that are sold in our store, because together we can make a difference in somebody else's life. So till tomorrow, happy, healthy motoring. Keep it under 100. And peace, patience, and kindness always, friends. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.